name is Kristen Jankowicz-Schrock. I'm an author and a DMC designer. I'd like to introduce you to one of my favorite techniques, the half cross stitch. It's really wonderful for stitchers of all skill levels. For beginners, it's pretty easy and time-saving. You can reference any cross-stitch pattern and use the half cross-stitch technique to accomplish the same look. For more advanced stitchers, it's really time-saving as well. You can socialize and relax while you're doing the stitch, or you can really jump into a huge canvas and accomplish the same look in half the time, or use all of your extra time to add embellishments and really great details to your work. I'd like to show you a comparison. Here we have traditional cross stitch using embroidery floss. It's really beautiful on its own. Then we're going to compare this half cross stitch technique, doing the thicker pearl cotton. It has the same coverage, but it was done in half the time because we only did half of the stitch over in one direction. So it has a beautiful sheen and really rich color. In order to accomplish a piece like this, you're going to need a chart and a key. This is the chart that we used for our cupcake. We're going to start off by finding the center point. It's marked by 2 arrows. I like to cheat a little bit and use a highlighter sometimes to help me find my center point. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my 14 count Aida cloth. That works best for the half cross stitch with the pearl cotton. To find my center on the fabric, just going to fold it in half and then fold again, and then you can see the point in the middle. Sometimes I like to mark it too with a water-soluble marker. Pearl cotton is very easy to work with. I'm going to show you how to open a skein and get started. What you're going to do first is take your color. There are going to be 2 ends of the skein of pearl cotton. One is folded in half. At the other end, you can kind of see 2 loops where there's a natural separation. You're going to pull back your labels just a little bit and then use your sharp scissors to cut through them, both sides, so that everything's free. You'll also find a little knot where all of your pearl cotton was originally tied together. You're going to want to snip that off too. Now that all of your thread is free, you're going to slide both labels towards the center, which is going to hold your pearl cotton together. And then, as you need a strand of pearl cotton, you're simply going to slip it out. And you're all ready to go with your pearl cotton perfectly contained. Now we're ready to get started with the pearl cotton. We're going to take a look at our color chart, and it tells us what symbol corresponds with which color of pearl cotton. All of the colors are color fast, acid-free, and mercerized, so they're very shiny and beautiful for your work. We're going to start with the center color, which corresponds to this purple. To start the pattern, I'm going to make a waist knot. It doesn't need to be pretty. Just kind of roll a big knot on my finger. It looks like from the center, I'm going to need a row of 9 half cross stitches. So I'm going to begin by inserting my needle over towards where the row is going to end, and then I'm going to begin corresponding to my chart, 1 square to the left of the center. There we go. Now I'm using a number 22 tapestry needle. It has a very dull tip, which is great because I don't really need to punch through the fabric. The holes are already made for me. Then I'm just going to go up at an angle to make 1 diagonal stitch. And that's really all there is to it. I'm going to come straight down in the back again. So now I'm under where my last stitch finished and make a 2nd diagonal stitch. Isn't this easy? And the pearl cotton just slides right through the Aida cloth really nicely. When you're getting started, it's perfectly fine to flip your fabric over back and forth if you want a reference to see where your needle's going. And you can see what happened here. I've got this big ugly knot sticking up. But what I have done is stitch the tail down with my half cross stitch. So now when I get to the end of the row, I can get my embroidery scissors and just clip off my waist knot, and it looks perfect. Now I'm ready to start my next row. I'm just going to go 1 row up and continue my half stitches diagonally in the same direction. And then you want to be poking the tip of your needle back into the same hole that already has the pearl cotton. To end this thread, we're just going to flip it over and very easily weave it under these stitches. Pull it through, and you can cut your tail. Such a fun and easy technique. So we're really going to follow that simple step to create the whole pattern. The only thing that you're really going to need to know is how to change colors. It's in a very similar way. Here, we've done the half cross stitch for the whole cupcake except for the red cherry on the very top. I've already got my tapestry needle threaded with my beautiful pearl cotton. And I'm going to start, since I already have some stitches on the back rather than using a waist knot, which you could do if you choose, I'm going to go ahead and weave my pearl cotton under these stitches, pull it through, and now I'm ready to continue with my last color. A lot of stitchers like to use a hoop for their cross stitch or their half cross stitch. For some projects, I choose to do it that way, but the half cross stitch is so easy that I find it's really good to do while I'm visiting with friends or sitting on the sofa with my husband while he's watching a football game or even waiting in line at the grocery store. So I like to have just this loose piece of fabric that I can fold up and throw in my purse or just have in the car and put in my pocket. And I find that it's a really wonderful way to pass the time. And you can see that this pearl cotton has really beautiful coverage. It makes all of the elements of your design really pop away from the canvas. It's got such a sheen. We're all done with the half cross stitch. Now we're just going to flip it over and once again thread the pearl cotton under one of the stitched rows. And that will really hold it securely. This is another area where it's good to take it out of the loop where you can use your finger to bend the fabric up a little bit and really get your needle under there. Okay, one final snip and we have a beautiful finished cupcake in half cross stitch. Now with all that time that we saved, you have lots of leftover time that you can add embellishments like we did on this one. We used some really great memory thread to add even more dimension, sheen, brightness, and color to the design. This ice cream would be very complicated to do. You could put a lot of time into a traditional cross-stitch pattern. But with the half cross-stitch, we were able to get all of these really beautiful details and capture the different qualities of light hitting the glass and the ice cream. You can see on this one the very intricate detail. And isn't the pearl cotton so lustrous that it really looks delicious and tempting? The colors are really rich. For other ideas, you can check out our website, dmc-usa.com. We also have a really great half cross-stitch brochure for other tempting sweet ideas.